Welcome back to Outriders. In this video I want to talk to you about a few discoveries I found. Basically, I went on Steam, installed the demo, I ran a trainer, so I cheated, and I was farming the Vanguard Captain, which everyone was doing in the demo before the game fully released. And I found quite a few interesting things that I don't think the developers have ever spoken about. And I don't know if anybody knows this or anything like that. So I'm basically just doing this video to start up discussions, to see if you guys knew about any of it. And the first thing I'm going to mention is the captain has a chance of dropping 1 or 2 bits of loot. From my experience, I have a cheat on the trainer that gives me a max legendary drop rate. Every single time I took down this captain, the Vanguard one, I got a legendary. But with the 2 loot drops, the other one that dropped, because I'm pretty sure the captain has 1 guaranteed drop and then 1 drop that's a bonus that doesn't drop every single time. The one that's guaranteed, the single loot drop, was always a legendary. Every single time I got a legendary. The other one that I would get occasionally was always blue or purple. I never once got a legendary, and it's supposed to have the max drop rate. So I think there is absolutely no way, I don't think it's physically possible to get a double legendary drop from a captain. So when you're playing in the full game, if you're farming for legendaries and stuff, and you're taking down these captains, I don't think there's a way to get a double drop at all. I'm not 100% sure on that, that's why I've said the video is for discussions. And the next thing is, this one's kind of annoyed me. I probably should have figured it out through community feedback and just playing the game myself. I've not had too many duplicate legendaries, so I haven't really been able to pay attention. But from what I've seen, after getting, I think I've ended up with over 100 legendaries on the demo, just because it doesn't take long to take down the captain when you've got one hit kill one. But what I've discovered is the attributes, when you get the perfect combination, that's your god roll. So for an example, some games would have god rolls in terms of having the highest possible stats. In Outriders, it's just based on the combination of your attributes. So if you're running a firepower build, you go for bonus firepower, close and long range damage bonuses. And it's kind of the reason I always say this game's bare bones is because those percentages and stuff never ever change. They increase with your level, but if you've got all level 50 gear, you can never find a piece that will ever come with higher or lower firepower. It's always going to be the same once you've raised those attributes. So your god roll is the perfect combination of attributes. On purples, blues, greens and whites, the attributes will change. On legendaries, at least for the weapons, I'm not entirely sure about gear, but on the weapons, after getting loads and loads of duplicates in the demo, there was not a single attribute change. And then I went over to Xbox and I checked my Torment and Agony pistols, and comparing the demo to the full game, there is not a single attribute change. So I don't think you can ever get a god roll on a legendary weapon. I'm not entirely sure about gear, as I said, but I don't think you can get a god roll on a legendary weapon at all unless it's default to that. So it was hard-coded in the game by the developers. That is why I think a lot of purples in the game are better than legendaries, because purples can re-roll those attributes and come with random ones. So you could get Air to the Desert being a tactical assault rifle. That's always going to come with armor pierce, but you might want crit damage. So because it can't roll with anything different, like anything other than armor pierce, you would go and get a purple that rolls with crit damage. Then you would take the close and the long range damage. So that's possibly part of the reason, at least, why legendaries feel very underwhelming in terms of their damage output and things like that. And that's possibly why a lot of people run purples instead of legendaries. Because ever since I've hit I think it's from tier 13 onwards, I've always run a purple, because I just don't have any legendaries that actually deal a good amount of damage. The Air to the Desert was alright, but obviously it comes with a tier 3 mod and I don't like the one that it rolls with, being Sandstorm. And then we're going to move on to the final thing that I want to talk about, and that is some of the mod changes that they made from the demo to the full game. I'm pretty sure the demo was simply just a portion of the full game. So the stuff that was in the demo should not have changed. In terms of the mods and their percentages, nothing should have changed. As I said, I don't know if the devs have ever spoken about it, cleared it up or anything like that. But there were 3 mods that I saw that have different percentages in the demo and the full game. If it's the case of the demo simply just being a small portion of the full game, I believe that this is possibly why there are so many broken mods in the game. Because Emergency Stance, which is currently broken in the full game, in the demo, when your health drops below 30%, you will attain Golem status. That will last for 5 seconds. In the full game, that only lasts 4 seconds. I've never heard them talk about any nerf or anything, like literally any change to that mod. I never knew that they had done any rebalancing. So if it is the case of the demo just being a small portion of the full game, that could be why that mod is broken, because they've tampered with it and they've messed up the coding somehow. So simply taking it from 5 seconds to 4 has somehow allowed it to proc permanently instead of for that small amount of time. The next one, which I actually find incredibly weird. There is a mod called Bloody Boost, which will increase your damage against bleeding enemies from 15% in the full game. In the demo, that is 20%, so it had a 5% decrease in the percentage of extra damage against bleeding enemies. I don't understand why it's only 15 in the full game, because with the Ashen boost, which is against enemies that are afflicted with Ash, it's a 20% increase. You can get a bleeding one that's tier 3 that will do 25%, but the tier 2 one is 15% in the full game and it's 20% in the demo. And then the final one, which is weird because it had a buff, and these percentages don't go up based on your level. So you can't go level 30 with a 20% increase to something, and then when you're level 50 it will have 25% or something like that. The percentages always stay the same. There is a mod called What Goes Around, and it has a chance of deflecting bullets towards enemies and dealing damage, and that in the demo was 20%, and in the full game it's 30%. So it got a 10% increase. The only mod I've ever heard of that's had a change like that was, I believe it was one of the Technomancer ones. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it went from 30% bonus down to 15%, and they actually had to edit their patch notes a week later to say, oh sorry, we forgot to add this into the patch notes. We apologise, it wasn't our intention to hide this. It wasn't a stealth nerf sort of thing. But they literally halved a buff, a percentage on a mod. And that's the only thing I've ever really seen them speak about. So I just found it really weird when I was playing the demo and I saw that these mods were completely different in the full game to what they did in the demo. And I'm not entirely sure if there are others that have had any changes, because I just didn't play long enough to get loads more to drop. The gears seem to be, in terms of getting purples, it seemed to be a very, very slim chance, even though I think my drop rate cheat thing on the trainer only affected legendaries. But it's weird because I wasn't getting too many purples, although the purples I did get had the mods on for me to have a look at, and I just thought I'd bring you this video because I find it annoying how the captain can't give you a double legendary drop. There's 2 bits of gear there. Why does one of the pieces of loot cap at purple rarity? And then with the mod changes, is that part of the reason the mods are so broken in the game? I don't know, but what I'm going to do is leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.